Brand new movie franchise ranking video here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinenberg. With the release of 28 Years Later, it's time to stop and rank all 28 later films in this now over 20-year franchise. And my name is Max Dinenberg. Welcome back to Max Talks Movies. If you're new to the channel, guys, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell if you're new to the channel. I do movie reviews and TV show reviews basically daily here on the channel. I also do other movie franchise rankings, out of theater reactions, and every Monday, a box office breakdown show. So if you like any one of those things, please consider subscribing and ringing that bell so you're notified when my new videos hit the channel. Also, please, guys, comment down below. What is your ranking of this franchise? Are you excited for the fourth entry in January? And tell me, did you grow up with this franchise? Are you new with this franchise like myself? Let me know down in the comments. I respond to every single comment, so please definitely comment. And one of the best ways to help YouTube creators like myself is to hit that thumbs up button. Helps YouTube's algorithm out by recommending my videos to more people. So please, guys, hit that thumbs up. It would mean a lot. So just for some background, even though the first film, not making myself feel very old here, but the first film came out when I was born in 2002. So this is a franchise that I should have really grown up watching. But since this week, this was the first time that I watched each of these films. So I don't have nostalgia or anything for this franchise. This is my ranking after watching all three films in a row for the first time this week. So starting at number 3 for me on this ranking list is the second entry into the franchise, 28 Weeks Later, which came out in 2007. Boyle and Garland did not come back to direct and write this film. Complete new creative team, complete new cast, but still kept the continuity from the original 28 Days Later. And I think there are some fine elements here. The ensemble here they got for this film is very good. When you're talking about Rose Byrne and Jeremy Renner and Idris Elba, Imogen Poots, really strong cast here. And the opening sequence honestly might be my favorite opening scene of any of the films, because we open up with this family that we don't know. It's a couple. There's a lot of different people in here. And it's a really dark opening to the movie where the dad, who's played by Robert Carlyle, who plays Donald Harris, he leaves his wife behind when she could have been saved. They could have ran out together out of this house when the infected came in. And he gets the hell out of there and runs away from friends, from family members. And they really built a good job of how close they are as a couple in the opening scene. Alice, who's played by Catherine McCormick. And then he just bolts. But the problem is that interesting hook kind of gets settled around 45 to an hour into the movie. And the movie completely then shifts focus on the kids, who are played by Macintosh Muggleton and Imogen Poots. And this film, for me, out of all of the films, has easily the dumbest characters of the franchise, where it does feel like each plot line has to continue forward by characters making stupid decisions that if we just stopped ourselves and had a conversation for 5 minutes, things would not be accomplished. Obviously, this movie does not happen unless the two kids on their first day in London in the quarantine zone run off. Like literally, they sleep in one night, they wake up, and they want to go and break the rules already. And that's when they run into the mom who brings in the infection back to the quarantine zone. But it just happens so fast. And if the kids had any brains, obviously we wouldn't have a movie here. And the other big part is Idris Elba, who plays this general. He basically disagrees with Scarlett, who's played by Rose Byrne, the lead doctor in this quarantine zone, like twice. She is the doctor of the infected. They have a quick 2-minute conversation on how she thinks it's possible for the infected to come back. And he's like, of course, it'll never come back. And then the moment there's someone back who is infected but isn't mutating, so she could be a possible cure for the infection. No, the soldier they want to kill her really quickly. Instead of missing that option, the whole place gets infected, and he wants everyone killed if you're infected or not. It for me, out of the whole franchise, really does strain the credibility of the universe. Jeremy Renner is a very one-note sergeant. All the characters themselves are very one-noted. Out of the entire ensembles of three movies, this is the one I care about the least. And that's because the two people I cared about was his opening couple, but they're very much their storyline pretty much ends even before the second half of the movie starts, and then becomes characters that I just did not care about. So 28 weeks later comes in number three. Easily coming in also at number two is 28 years later. This for me was a massive disappointment, especially because Danny Boyle and the director and the writer Alex Garland came back to make this movie, not just make this movie, but to write and produce and direct a possible trilogy here. And I will say, well, I definitely like this film less and less the more I think about it. I do think the first act of this movie is pretty awesome with Aaron Taylor Johnson, his character Jamie with the son Isaac, with Isaac Spike, who's played by Alfie Williams. They have great chemistry. That felt like the movie that I was sold on, the movie that I wanted to see. But the movie subverts expectations. And for me, I don't need a movie to stick to what it sold me on if the subversion makes sense and is interesting. But the problem is the first act of this movie feels like the first one, which is a zombie kind of horror movie with some tension, with some action thrown in there, a father-son thing that you kind of were invested in. But then that's kind of it for Aaron Taylor Johnson, the rest of the movie. And instead, it becomes more about a cancer movie. It becomes more about, not mythology, how am I trying to say this? Themes about life and death. Metaphors, that's what I'm trying to say. Metaphors about life and death. Do we value life and death now? Should we value life and death, what it means in basically an apocalyptic world? And looking through it through a kid's eyes, someone who has cancer, through a doctor's eyes. And I did think the film became a little, in my opinion, too talky and too complicated. The brilliance of the first movie, which we'll get into in a second, is that it's such a simple film. Yes, it takes a big swing towards the third act of 28 Days Later, but it's still a very simple film. The first 30 to 40 minutes of this movie is quite simple. Father, son, going out, learning, and understanding now where we're at in this world. But the moment it becomes a mother-son film with Jodie Comer, who, again, all the performances are really good here. Alfie Williams is really good as Spike. The whole ensemble is very strong. I just didn't feel the direction they took was the right one to go. It didn't expand the world in a necessary way. Again, we're still stuck in the UK area. And after we were told in the first film, this happened in New York and Paris, and then the second film has infected running around in Paris. We're still in Scotland, England area in this movie. And a lot of this film feels like setup. It just doesn't feel like a completed story because it's not. We're getting a movie in January, and then they want to make even another film down the line. And I think that nature of not just that they go a different direction, but that different direction is not even close. That story is not even close to being finished. It leaves a lot to be desired. So this is a movie that I think has bold ideas, is very well made, well acted. The score is quite good. It has the best zombie action and kills of the franchise. I just think it was a little bit too ambitious for its own good. The ending, I think the last 5 minutes are awful and have made me slide this movie even worse down on my list. But at number one for me, the only movie I would really give a fresh review on is 28 Days Later. Now, I don't think this is one of the best zombie movies I've ever seen. I still think, though, it does feel like a fresh zombie movie. And the reason why is the first hour or so of this movie does feel like another run-of-the-mill as kind of zombie film when, Cillian Murphy's character of Jim wakes up. He's waking up to being in a basically apocalyptic world where there's just zombies, not a lot of humans left. Really strong ensemble here. Naomie Harris as Selena is my favorite character of this franchise. She was awesome in this movie, and she feels like the most believable human character that we've gotten in this world, where she's been through a lot. She can handle herself on her own, but she's also striving for the human connection. And that's what she gets with Jim. Brendan Gleeson was a really good addition with his character, Frank and Hannah, played by Megan Burns. But the movie really hits the next gear when Jim, Selena, and Hannah make their way to the military compound. You finally feel like our characters are finally in a safe situation. There's military guys, they have light, they have food, and yes, they're acting very immature, but you would rather be in this situation than just still running around from zombies. But then the big twist of the movie was they were calling on those messages to get women here to continue the human race. And it is a jarring twist, but it really brings this movie some intensity. The third act of this movie is as intense as this trilogy has ever been. It is because Cillian Murphy goes on a huge killing and escape, sequence, and he is really intense, very bloody, senseless killing, but really not, because he's doing this for Selena and Hannah. It is quite intense. This does feel like one of the more authentic apocalyptic worlds movies you've seen. Like, you can kind of picture this if our world ever became infected with those people and there'd be little of the humans left. This feels like a plausible movie that would take place in today's time, which is quite impressive. Even for such a short budget, it just feels like a much bigger deal than an $8 million budget. Cillian Murphy is so good. But really, the first hour is kind of a fun, you've been there, done that zombie film. The moment that twist happens, leading into the third act, this movie hits a completely different gear and becomes, and honestly, a great movie. So 28 days later, easily for me, guys, comes in number one. And we have not touched this film since its release back in 2002. So what is your ranking of the 28 later franchise? Let me know down in the comment section. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.